Hey, Cub fans! Thanks for joining us here on Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. Thanks for tuning in to the weekend update for week ending February 16th. I'm gonna describe it as a slow week because there wasn't any like the big news. I kept waiting for the big free agent deal, the big trade, and none of it really happened. Former Cub Jorge Soler did come off the board. He signed with the Giants for 3 years, $42 million. But as far as the Cubs are concerned, there isn't anything notable. So, on one hand, it felt like a pretty slow news week, but on the other hand, it wasn't because spring training started. Pitchers and catchers reported on Wednesday. What a great day! What a great feeling it is to have spring training officially open. So I was just kind of paying attention to that. And all the news that came out was just sort of little pieces of news. And I took note of a few, some of the things that happened that I'll share with you guys now. Tommy Harvey got his first look at Shota Imanaga and was really impressed. Is quoted as saying he's a really complete package. So Shota has been really impressive to everybody so far. Council made a statement that I thought was interesting too, and it to me it has to do with the idea that we haven't signed Bellinger, for example, or Chapman, and there's still a lot of questions about are we going to be adding to. Council has stated, I'm going to quote him because I think it's very important. Without reading too much into it, what's he inferring here? Craig says, there are a lot of guys that are right in that sweet spot to take a really good leap in performance this year. So in my mind, what he's saying is, well, maybe we're not doing the signings because we expect to get our improvement from within. All these young guys taking that next step. So I thought that was an interesting comment when I heard it from Craig. Carl Edwards Jr. Shows up on the first day of spring training wearing Bulls championship shorts. And I liked them, and Carl looked good in them. I saw a bunch of pictures of the bullpen work, and I noticed this sign that's on the bullpen fencing. And it was just a white sign. It's about like this big. And I got up close enough on different shots and some of the videos I could read it, and the sign says, I don't care how fast you throw ball 4. And I thought that was interesting. In response to what I think is a unusually high stolen base success rate that we've seen here last year, I've noticed that the catchers are working on different techniques, different footwork. They're adjusting new techniques. I saw some shots of some catchers working with some coaches on their stance and getting rid of the ball, pop times and the like. I just thought that was interesting. So we're going to see catchers paying more attention to holding runners down this year. A big piece of news that came out of spring training was, believe it or not, the uniforms. If you haven't seen this, it's a big to-do. Nobody's happy. My understanding is Nike has designed these new uniforms, and they used a company to manufacture it called Fanatics. And I'm talking about nobody's happy. Fans are complaining. Some of the guys that I follow have been complaining about it. The spring training hats, some guy didn't like that. But I've heard that players have actually gone to the Players Union to complain about it. They describe it as looking like knockoffs, like replicas. And when I heard that, I can see that. I understand what they're talking about. But Commissioner Rob Manfred has come out and said he's defending it. And I'll quote him. He says, the jerseys are different, but they're designed to be performance wear. I think that people wear them for a little bit, they're going to be really popular. So I guess they've designed these new uniforms for more wearability, comfort, whatever, but they do look a little knockoff-ish. And you can be the judge. You can pull it up. Pictures are everywhere of these new uniforms. On a side note with Rob Manfred, he announced that he's going to be retiring at the end of his current term, and that term ends on January 25th of 2029. Theo Epstein, possibly. We'll see what happens. The free agent log jam, I guess it is. I just literally came off the free agent tracker, and it's still full of dudes. I mean, you could make a really good team out of the guys that are still waiting to be signed. We mentioned Bellinger before. We got Chapman is still on the board. Votto, Longoria, Brandon Crawford, Michael Brantley, Will Myers, J.D. Martinez, Brandon Belt, Eddie Rosario, Tommy Pham, Michael Taylor. It goes on and on. Tim Anderson. It's just incredible. Pitchers are the same way. Urias, Snell, Clevenger, Jordan Montgomery, Cueto, Rich Hill, Zach Davies. Just a bunch of guys. And other than the Soler signing this last week, I didn't really see anything that was really noteworthy. I imagine that's going to change sometime soon. I mean, whatever the log jam is, I guess when one log breaks out and then they all follow. But see, right now, I still feel like we're in a sort of a holding pattern. Is what we have now what we're going to have? And if so, then let's move forward and figure it out. But is there another shoe going to drop? Is there going to be some more ads? At this point, it could go either way. I mean, we're well into February, and there's still a bunch of guys left. So I'll continue to track that, and anything that happens next week, I'll have it for next weekend's update. Some fun stuff that I saw that I want you guys to know about. During the convention, Luke Little was mic'd up at a formal. So if you can picture a room, it was kind of a crowded room, but it was a bunch of and it looked like a lot of the prospects in suits, tuxes, and Luke Little was mic'd up, our 6'8" lefty reliever. Great guy. It's great to watch these guys in an element like that where you can see their youth, their enthusiasm. It was really good. So I'm going to drop a link to the video that I found of Luke Little being mic'd up. I think you guys will enjoy it. Another little piece that I thought was interesting, it's not Cub related, it's certainly baseball related. There's a 17-year-old Japanese player named Rintaro Sasaki. Rintaro is spelled Rintaro, Sasaki Sasaki. And he is being described as the world's best 17-year-old. And the reason I bring him up is I saw some videos on this guy, left-handed hitter. And you have to see it. And I don't need to send you a link. You just Google in Rintaro Sasaki, the videos will pop up. Left-handed hitter. He broke the high school record in Japan for home runs. He had 138 home runs 138 high school home runs. And when you watch him hit left side, you won't believe it. Kid's 17 years old. It's amazing. He's going to Stanford. So make a note to self, watch all Stanford games you can to see this Rintaro Sasaki. Phenomenal. So one more thing. Edwin Escobar, the free agent we signed on a minor league contract, got an invitation to spring training. He spent 7 or 8 years in Japan. Well, he was a teammate of Shota's. So Shota's got Edwin Escobar with him, who he's friends with, and I saw some pictures of them. They look like they know each other pretty well. So Escobar and Shota were teammates in Japan. Guys, so that's the week ending February 16th. Still feels like it's light. I still waiting on the big news. There could be some big news coming. There might not be, but I'll keep my eye on it. And anything that happens that I think is really pertinent, I'll let you know ASAP. Thanks again for joining us here on Cubs 24/7. I really appreciate you watching Randy talk Cubs, and go Cubs go.